Hi friends, welcome to Active Self-Protection Extra. On today's video, I am here with the dude, Kerry Dudenhofer, owner of Kerry Concealed and the director of the co-director of the Active Self-Protection Instructor Certification, as well as ASP CMO, director of training, and my handsome middle-aged gay couple friend, Neil. And I got a thing to talk about with two accomplished and high-volume shooters, and that is, do you need to have a carry gun and a training gun of the same gun? Today's video is brought to us by Mantis. The Mantis family of products is integral to ASP staff building handgun and carbine skills and are your most economical and fastest path to improvement in your skills too. Whether you choose the X10, the Laser Academy, the Blackbeard, or use them all in concert, they will help your practice be more effective, efficient, and fun. Go check them out, pick up a unit, and thank them for sponsoring today's video. So what you have here, you have Theseus, right? So Theseus has been my carry gun for the last 2.5 years. This gun just went back for a refresh from Langdon Tactical Technologies, and Ernest and his crew redid it after about 45,000-ish rounds. It was looking a little raggedy, quite frankly. And so I had them send it back. It's beautiful now, it's back in there. And this is now my training gun. That is my LTT Elite P30. Hasn't earned a name yet. Has about 1,000 rounds through them, and I decided that's going to be my carry gun, and this is going to be my training gun. And now, all right, I'm not going to tip my hand too much. Well, why not? I don't think for the vast majority of people you need to have a training gun and a carry gun. I think that the way that most people shoot and the amount that they shoot, I don't necessarily think that it's a thing that you've got to have. Now, that said, Kerry, you shoot a lot.
Yes.
And you kind of you have a rotation so you don't put too much beating on any given gun.
Well, and also it all started because I was investing a lot of money in one class, right? Travel, lodging, class fee, ammo, and I was worried about getting there and ever having a problem and not being able to train. So I ended up getting another identical gun to the one that I use. Everything's exactly the same, and so that way I have both. So I have two Penelopes instead of one Penelope.
It's just Penelope.
Penelope. Yes.
And again, because, well, let's see, what have you got, 2,500 hours of gun school?
Almost. Wait, I'm about 100 hours away from that.
All right, 2,400 hours of gun school, which is a bonkers number. And so how many rounds a year do you say you probably shoot?
Oh boy, the past couple, I would say 4,000 to 5,000.
Okay, even that, I would say you're probably, I mean, you're running VP9s or, you know, you're going to run 10 years of VP9s at 45,000 a year before that is there. Neil, on the other hand, your carry gun has 60,000 rounds to it?
Maybe 70 by now. It's got a lot.
It's got a lot.
Got a lot.
Just so you know, if you go back on Active Self-Protection and you find the video on my Kerry VP9, John Talbot, it's his gun now. So what started as John Talbot, my first
Still doesn't
VP9,
have that cocking handle.
Yeah, still doesn't have that cocking assist
But it feels
lever.
better against my tummy without it, so I don't need that thing.
Do you mean rounds just in gun school or rounds all?
No, how many rounds do you shoot a year?
Probably close, not quite double that, but close to double
So
that.
10,000 a year.
Yeah,
Long
gotcha.
time.
Sorry, I thought you meant in school.
And guys, let's be honest. That's 10 times to 50 times more than most people shoot a year, right?
Oh, we hear it all the time. Somebody will comment somewhere like, well, I shot 100,000 rounds last year, and I'm like, no,
you did
First
not.
off, do the math on that
Yeah.
ammo, and you can't afford that.
Nope.
And second, I shoot about 30 to 40,000 rounds, probably for the last 2 years. That is
That's
a lot of shooting.
I averaged the last 3 years, I've averaged about 20,000 a year.
Yeah, that's about
and that's a lot, man. And I got to tell you, it's hard to maintain that level of shooting, and I don't got a job. I mean, I do have a job, but you know, I don't have a regular 9-to-5 job where part of my job is going to the range and shooting on camera for you guys and going to gun school. So, you know, I shoot way more than most. And so I decided to do this because I had these different options, and there's no sense in beating the tar out of my carry gun when I have an identical one sitting at home in my safe. No, for most people, no, you don't need that. You don't. You get a good gun, get a high quality gun. Don't get a piece of crap.
Yeah.
Get a gun that you're going to spend a few $100 on, you know, in the value tier, right? So certainly HK is kind of above the value tier in kind of the Gucci tier. But if you get a Glock, a Smith & Wesson, a Sig Sauer for sure, any of those, man, it's going to last you through years and years and years and years and years of the 2,000 rounds a year that your average person who's out training with their gun might shoot through it. So you don't need that. Now, the other thing I would say is that maybe you might want to have a second copy of the gun that you have at home in the safe so that, God forbid, you get in a gunfight, you've got another one that you can put on your person once you get home. Because if you get in a gunfight with a gun, it's gone, right? You're never going to see it again. It's gone. But as far as having one of these, and I see this is a kind of a trope in the firearms instructor community that, you need to have a training gun and a carry gun. Okay, this dot right here, this particular dot's got 45,000 rounds through it. Just fine. This is the second front sight I've had on this gun. It's the second Cerakote I've had on this gun. It's the second set of springs I've had in this gun, but it's fine. 45,000 rounds. It was running fine. It wasn't having any problems. I just decided why not, because I had an identical copy. Do you need to mimic that? This is one thing that I will tell you I don't want you to mimic me in.
Yes.
I just don't. I don't think it's wise for most people to do.
I think if you have the means and it's
I mean, if
something
you got a
wanna
boatload
do,
of money.
knock yourself out. There's nothing wrong with it, but for the average shooter that we see, at least that we know, I think that's probably a step beyond where you are. Now, there are some, we're not the only training junkies on the planet.
Sure.
So there's a lot of people that hit a ton of classes, and for that crowd, it's not a horrible idea.
Yeah, I mean, if you're one of the 10,000 people in America that's out there training multiple times a year and shooting a bunch, or certainly all my high-level competitive friends. You know, when you're putting, when you got a comp gun, a competition gun that you're putting 30, 40,000 rounds a year because you're, a GM level shooter, you're competing at national levels. Yeah, you're gonna have a competition gun and a carry gun. I mean, that'd be dumb to have otherwise. For the average Joe and Jane, I'd spend your money on other stuff.
I encourage my students to, instead of doing a backup gun, the average student that maybe takes a class or two, to spend that money on training or on ammunition to train with rather than buying another gun. So.
Listen to the dude, she's smart.